Do you think in Michael's case, Bill, then, that in terms of his writing, it's easier to write about your own life experiences or about somebody else's life? What do you think?
Oh, it's much easier to write about your own, certainly, when you start. But see, I read Michael's book, we both did, and it was such a treat. Good writing doesn't tell you it's raining, it makes you feel the rain. And we felt, I did, I felt
I was back in
growing
Navan
up.
in the 50s
Oh,
reading
yeah.
your book,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's very funny, Michael, as well. Part of the book that I really enjoyed most was your obsession with werewolves, your early obsession with the matinee movies, and what was it about werewolves that got you?
I suppose I was scared. I was only a child at the time, you know. But they usually show them films in the winter months when it'd be dark on the way home, you know, and sure, you'd be scared out of your wits.
So there's another book in you?
Oh, there's another book in me, yes.
What's the next
But
one?
I'd like to pick up on something that Bill was saying there about starting them young. I think they should be started young. But when I was going to school, corporal punishment was the thing of the day, and they didn't treat us gentle enough, you know.
You think it would have made a difference to you?
It would have made a difference, yeah.
Yeah.
Because half the time we were afraid in the class, scared of the teacher. And I think it left us with low esteem.
Right. Well, thank
you know,
God
and
that has changed
lack of
now.
confidence. But I know since I came back to the education, and since I joined the Mead Writer Circle, I go around reading at events, and I found that has helped me greatly, that I have gained my confidence, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And certainly when you're having books published, that would give you an extra
Oh, yes,
boost, wouldn't
yes.
it? Michael, where can we find your book?
You can find my book in Bookwise, Medges Lane, Navan, County Meath.
OK, so people can contact the bookshop to get it there.
That's right, yes.
Great. Do you think, Bill, you know the way that some people can recall very vividly stories and events from their childhood, like Michael can, and others say, I know nothing that happened to me before the age of 10, I just don't remember. Do you think memory needs to be exercised?
Well, I think people who, there's several things that could have to do with recalling those things. One of them is obviously some people are just better at memory, they remember more and so forth. But generally what happens in terms of that is that people who tell stories informally and joke and so forth actually have those stories rehearsed. And I suspect a number of the stories that you wrote in your book were also ones that you had told other people about. They didn't just emerge on...
Those stories I've told my own children.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Great. Well, we look forward to reading the next batch of them when the next book comes out, Michael. Earlier we looked at alphabetical order, and here are some more examples of organising things using letters.
Need a plumber to fix that leaking tap? Or the number of a local pharmacy? Or maybe you're finally getting round to getting those windows replaced. You need a book like the Golden Pages to find businesses and services, or a local independent directory like this one. The businesses and services are arranged in alphabetical order according to the type of business, like beauty salons under B, car dealers under C, or doctors under D. Within a section they are in alphabetical order again, according to the name of the business or professional person. If you want those windows replaced, find the window section near the end of the directory and choose a company. But let's say you come across a word that you're not familiar with, like casement.
If I come across a word when I'm reading in paper or book, I might occasionally look up the word in the dictionary for meaning and pronunciation.
If like I heard a word or something that I didn't know, like what it meant, I might look it up.
So, casement. What does that mean? The words in the dictionary are in alphabetical order, so you'll find a word like casement, which starts with C, near the start. So, casement means a window set on a hinge so that it opens like a door. You'll find uses for a dictionary popping up all the time.
I'd use a dictionary from time to time, mainly to check the spellings and things if I was writing a letter for work purposes or whatever. And then sometimes as well, maybe doing crosswords, checking the the spelling again in dictionaries.
When I would use an English dictionary, I would tend to find would be when I'm just checking the spellings of words. I generally have a very good spelling capabilities myself, but there are sometimes just the odd word that I would actually use it for.
You can use alphabetical order to find the word you're looking for quickly, and your dictionary will be one of the most useful books you have.
Today's Ireland is host to a wide range of nationalities and cultures. Very often the language we use to describe race is confusing. Newspaper articles, for example, might mention somebody's ethnic background but describe nothing about their personalities. Some people find the word race itself is very upsetting. So how do we understand newspaper articles written about our new multicultural Ireland?
Ireland is changing fast. Take a look around you. Nowadays, you'll see different nationalities from all corners of the globe who have moved here to make a new home. So how do our daily newspapers report on stories about this? We talked to Anna Pass, the editor of the Polski Express, Seamus Dooley, the Assistant Secretary of the National Union of Journalists, and Kinsika Monshengwo, the Training Resource Officer of the National Consultative Committee on Racism and Interculturalism, to find out more. So what is an asylum seeker?
That term, asylum seeker, was used loosely to describe anybody who looked foreign. But in reality, an asylum seeker is somebody who's leaving their country and coming to a foreign country to look for protection.
And what is a refugee?
If the country decides, well, we have looked through your case and we agree to protect you, then your status in that country becomes refugee.
What is the difference between an illegal immigrant and a migrant?
If they enter a country illegally, without the authorities knowing that they are there, then they are illegal immigrants. But if anybody leaving from one place to go to another place to work, they call them a migrant worker because you have migrated to go to that place to work.
I don't know if you can simply blame the media, but there is no doubt about it that some of the coverage, and not just tabloid, contributed to stereotyping, to the idea that all migrant workers were on the make.
I remember when I first came here, before the negative coverage on asylum seekers and refugees, people were actually genuinely interested in talking to you, asking you questions, showing you directions, etc. Very nice. And after a certain time, you started seeing a lot of the negative coverage about blacks and etc. etc. You could feel, walking down the street, that the attitudes are changing.
There are still elements of ignorance and racism within Irish society, and I think we need to be aware of that.
They perceive you as a foreigner, therefore they make a lot of assumptions because of what they've read.
Obviously, immigrants are coming to Ireland because of its booming economy. We're coming here to find better jobs, better wages, better accommodation, better life.
But not all new immigrants work in low-paying jobs. Many work as architects, engineers and in the financial sector, all adding to our growing economy.
If you look around Ireland today, you will notice a different accent, different nationalities. It's just a fact that Ireland is a multi-ethnic place today. But that's why a new term that people are using now, and that term is interculturalism. Now, I cannot turn around and show you this is interculturalism. It's about putting in place policies to ensure that interaction is happening between those different groups in society, between them and the majority population.
We could and should be doing more to ensure that there are a wide variety of voices, not just in newspapers, but also on television and on radio. But the real problem, I think, is that migrant workers themselves are not employed in the media, certainly not in mainstream. And therefore the shaping of news remains largely a function of white middle-class males with a few women thrown in.
At the beginning, as I said, journalists, they didn't know that much about Polish community. So they were writing about what they find on internet or what they've heard from single characters on the streets, which obviously is not representative for the whole community.
There has been an improvement, I think. It's not necessarily all about migrant workers driving on the wrong side of the road or being exploited. There are a lot of human stories out there.
Maybe I would like to see Irish media not to write about us like one big group.
With our culture changing, so too are the words we use in the media. Our challenge is now to learn these new words and their different meanings in the news and on the street.
Bill, you've lived here now for, more than 20 years. Do you think our language is changing much by the very fact of not trying to offend people and being more politically correct, maybe?
I think the middle class is too careful. I don't think other people are too careful. And maybe they are, but the people that I hang out with where I do set dancing and stuff aren't necessarily too careful. And I think you lose a lot of the joy of language. But the part that's dangerous about it is when there's norms and, if you will, stigma about being part of particular groups. And all groups have that. I'm an academic, and you should hear the nonsense that goes on about stigmatizing other groups in there. But of course, nobody owns up to it.
But for today, that's all we have time for, except to thank our guests for coming in, Michael the Sheriff Shields, and thanks to Bill Doris as well, both of you. In the meantime, here's the contact details again to get hold of your free student workbook that goes with the series. Till next time, goodbye.
For your free student pack and workbook, free phone 1800 20 20 65. That's 1800 20 20 65. Or you can go online and visit www.rug.ie or write to The Really Useful Guide to Words and Numbers, care of Nala, 76 Lower Gardner Street, Dublin 1.